Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Time with PIAC. Today, we'll share some insights from our 2025 semi-annual report on the management and use of petroleum revenues in Ghana. This report presents highlights for the first half of the year, that is from January to June 2025. The PRMA places a responsibility on PIAC to publish two reports each year, a semi-annual and an annual, as part of efforts to promote transparency and accountability in the management and use of petroleum revenues in Ghana. PIAC has been doing this over the years and has successfully published the 2025 semi-annual report this month. We'll get into the details of the report shortly. As always, you are a part of the conversation, so share your comments and post your questions, and we'll address them during the discussion. This is Time with PIAC. I am Jessica Echampon, and you are welcome. So joining me to share insights on this report is the chair of PIAC, Constantine KM Kujaji Esquire. So hello, sir. Good afternoon. We are glad you could join us to discuss the latest reports of PIAC.
Good afternoon, Jessica. It's my pleasure to be here. And good afternoon to our viewers as well.
Great. So before we get into insights of the report, where we get to talk about the numbers, where the money went and all of that, we'll just start off with this conversation on what PIAC actually is and why are you even producing reports in the first place?
Thank you very much for the question. PIAC was established under the PRMA, which is the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, as amended in 2011. It's a citizen-led body charged with the responsibility of monitoring the use of petroleum revenue, creating platform for debate on the use, and also conducting independent assessment on the use through our reports to government. So PIAC has been doing this, and various institutions constitute the PIAC committee, or the committee for that matter. 13 institutions make up the committee. So that is the mandate of PIAC. And we do this monitoring process through project inspections of petroleum-funded projects. We do the debate through what we call district engagements and zonal engagements with communities, as well as regional engagements. And then we do the independent assessment through our reports. We obtain information from various institutions. We look at how the revenue has been used, the projects that have been funded by these petroleum revenue, and we come out with our report. And the essence of the report is to guide Parliament and the executive on the use. If there are lapses, we make recommendations and how to improve it. So that is what we've been doing. And our report is very important in that direction. Yes.
Very well. Let's now settle in for what is in the latest report. So in terms of developments for the first half of the year, did we see any notable developments in the upstream oil industry?
I would not say so. I wouldn't say we saw any major developments, except that, yes, the government is making some efforts to get the upstream industry going with some interactions with already existing upstream operators, and also like INI, and then also the issue of getting some second gas processing plants. I mean, it's something that is also on the table to be done. So with the first half of the year, I believe that it's a preparatory kind of stage for the new government, if I should say so. So not major developments were made, apart from the usual negotiations with existing upstream operators, etc. So if there should be any major development, probably should be in the second half of the year, and we are watching. Yes.
So how was production like in the first half of the year from the various fields, Jubilee 10, SGN?
It wasn't too good, I must say, and as compared to half year last year, that is 2024. But then the Jubilee field, which is our major field, obviously produced the highest of the petroleum, which is about 60% of that. And then the SGN field produced 24%, and then the 10 field produced 16%. Now the total production is about 18.4 million barrels, okay? Now 18.4 million barrels, Jubilee produced about 11.023 of that, and then the SGN field produced about 4.4. The 10 field produced about 2.8. So in terms of the figures, in relation to barrels of oil, that is the case. And then the percentages, as I said, 60%, 24% by the SGN field, and then the 10 field, 16%. So that's how the production went. And if you compare this with half year 2024, this is about, half year 2024, we had about 24 million barrels. And this year we are having 18.4. So clearly there is a decrease, and that decrease is about 26 or so percent, yes.
So what are the factors accounting for that decline compared to H1 2024?
Yes, we have for some time been observing this decline, and we thought it will improve, okay, but then it is still going down, and it appears that our fields are becoming matured fields. Oil production starts at a certain point, you go up, you plateau, you decline. But then we went up in 2019, and consistently we have been coming down. So that is the suggestion or the impression that we are having matured fields. It could also be as a result of some technical challenges in the field itself. Shutdowns for maintenance may also reduce production, okay? Yes. So these may be some of the factors, but I think it is mainly, technical. Yes.
Okay, before we go on to talk about how much revenue that these production, that's the 18.4 million barrels, brought us as a country, I'd want to take your perspective on this. What is PIAC's outlook for production considering the consistent decline over the years?
If measures are not taken to address whatever challenges we are having in these fields, it will be the same. We may encounter another decline in the remaining years. If you look at last year, the first half we had 24 million thereabout, and we thought things will improve. But the second half we had the same figure, so the whole year was 48 million barrels. This year we have recorded 18 million barrels in the first half of the year. So going by that tangent, okay, you will have another 18. If you add, it means the whole year is 36.
36, 37.
Exactly. So we have declined. But I hope that, there is no doubt that government is aware that there are challenges in the upstream industry. And I hope that measures are being taken to address them, with the hope that from July to December, things will improve. If things improve and the production for the remaining half year is up, all well and good. But if not, then we will continue to experience a decline. Yes.
So this is still Time with PIAC, and today we are unpacking the 2025 semi-annual report of PIAC, and my guest is the chair of PIAC, Constantine KM Kujaji, and he just walked us through some production figures for the first half of the year. We did about 18.4 million barrels from our three producing fields.
And that is crude oil.
That is crude oil
Yes.
production from the fields. We did about 18.4 million barrels. So now I want to get back to my guest and then find out how much revenue did this 18.4 million barrels give us in the first half of the year?
It gave us about 370.34 million US dollars. Okay. And if you compare this figure to 2024 first half, that's about 56% decrease.
Another decrease?
Yes. 2024 first half, the revenue was 840 thereabouts. Okay. $840 million. Okay. Now, first half 2025, we recorded $370 million. So that's about 56% decrease, and that is wide. That's a wide gap. So there is a problem. So we are not getting much revenue. Yes, and I know what you are going to ask me is what accounted for it.
Why are we not getting so much revenue?
I'm now the moderator. Yes. So we basically crude oil prices could account for that. Apart from the reduction in production. Okay. Now, last year, for instance, first half, the average price per barrel was about 84 USD per barrel. Mm-hmm. Half year this year was about 73, 74. So there is a drop. As I speak, there is even a further drop to about 60 or 59, but we are not talking about now. We are talking of first half of the year. So that accounted for the reduction in revenue, because if you have 73 USD, mm-hmm. already your production is low. You multiply, you get a low figure. So yes, so that is mainly because of that.
So this 370 million that came to us, how was it distributed? I'm sure my viewers will be interested in knowing what did we do with this money.
Yeah, good. So the petroleum revenue is distributed through the ABFA to GMPC, the Ghana Stabilization Fund, and then the Ghana Heritage Fund. Now, the ABFA is the annual budget funding amount, which is used to support the national budget. And then, of course, a percentage goes to GMPC, which is the government oil producing company. Now, the total distribution out of this 370 was 277, okay? And GMPC had about 24% of that. GMPC had 65 million US dollars thereabout. And then the ABFA, the annual budget funding amount, had about 53%, which is 148 million US dollars. And then the Ghana Stabilization Fund had 16%, constituting 44.468 million dollars. And then the Ghana Heritage Fund had 7%, which is about $19 million. So that's how it was distributed. Yes.
So my viewers can actually see a pie chart of the distribution. You can see that what GMPC got, ABFA, Ghana Heritage Fund, and then the Ghana Stabilization Fund. Technical team, kindly bring back the graph. You're making reference to it. Thank you. Yeah, so that is the distribution from PHF in H1 2025. But I would want us to stay a bit on the allocation to the ABFA. We know that there was an amendment, and PIAC has been making a lot of comments about the amendment and then how it's affecting PIAC, it's affecting other beneficiaries of the ABFA. what is your assessment of this amendment? And then I would want us to shelve the bit about how it has affected PIAC, but just in the first half of 2025, did we see any investment in this big push project, or how was ABFA used?
Yes, so 95% of the ABFA that was allocated was to go to infrastructure. Okay, and that figure I think is about 146 million.
Okay.
And then 5% to the district assemblies, to the district assembly common fund. Okay, so that is how it was distributed. Now, the government has come out to say that for petroleum revenue, we are channeling the revenue to infrastructure development. Okay, and they have named it, is it Big Push?
Big Push, yeah.
Good. I think the amendment that made this possible was somewhere in April 2025.
Yeah.
And that was just 2 months to the end of the half year. And of course, you cannot start a project based on law when you don't have the requisite law. So 2 months to the time this amendment came into effect. So clearly, there has not been any significant disbursement to the best of our knowledge of this fund for purposes of the Big Push. So yes, the money was allocated, but to the knowledge of PIAC, nothing has been done with that money. Not that it is being squandered or whatever, but then we are hoping that that money that was earmarked, with the coming into force of the amendment, we will see some usage of that money in the second half of the year, because basically 2 months to the end of the end of the first half, I'm not surprised nothing has been done. Yes.
But is PIAC able to track how the DACF uses the 5% allocation that goes to it?
Now the 5% itself was to be distributed to the various district assemblies for their development. Okay, but then now the amendment again talks about centralizing this fund, which in itself is contrary to Article 2523 of the Constitution. So that is a problem that, because if you centralize it and you don't distribute it to the district assemblies, it's another issue. There was also the issue about the amendment, where the amendment talked about a minimum of 5%, sorry, a maximum of 5%. But I think the constitutional provision talks about a minimum
Yeah.
of 5%. So there seems to be some inconsistency between the amendment and the constitutional provision, which needs to be looked at. But that 5% has been earmarked for the district assemblies. Yes.
But is there a way that you are able to track?
Yes, there is a way we are able to track. We get the information from the district assembly common fund, and that is where we got this information that I'm sharing with you. So at least we know that the money is there. It hasn't been distributed to whoever has to receive it. And that is the one issue we raised in our report, that centralizing the fund will be problematic. Yes.
Okay, but let's talk about the big push and then going forward. As at the end of first half, we didn't see any major projects ongoing, but going into the second half, towards the end of the year, is PIAC playing any role when it comes to monitoring of the big push projects?
We have to. We have no option. We have to, because as I said, the money has been allocated. The government has come out that we are using petroleum revenue for infrastructure. Our duty is to monitor use of petroleum revenue. So we have an obligation to track it. As I said, we did not see anything in the first half of the year by our report. Over the period, government has come out talking about the big push and all that. I have seen some I wouldn't say some initiatives.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, last week or last 2 weeks, there was this issue of dualization of the Sekendi Takrady Cape Coast Road. My road, because yes, I'm from Sekendi Takrady. Yes. So, I mean, that is one area that the government is channeling this petroleum revenue to as part of the big push agenda. So, infrastructure for purposes of the big push is roads and other visible infrastructure. So that's why I said we hope that in the second half of the year we will see some work on this policy and also monitor how petroleum revenue is being used for this policy. And we can get the information from the stakeholders, okay? Because yes, the Ministry of Finance should be able to tell us that this money that was allocated, this is where it went. Ministry of Roads and Highways, they are in charge of roads, awarding contracts, etc. We need to know all that. So there's a way we can track. Yes.
Indeed, there is a way we can track, and we look forward to getting more information about these projects in the full year report of PIAC that will be published somewhere in March 2026. But I would want us to now focus our conversation on PIAC's activities for the first half of the year. We know that one issue that PIAC has been trumpeting over the period is funding and how that has been impacting your activities. So the first half of the year, what are we able to report for PIAC in terms of our activities?
I was going to ask you, why did you say that we should shelve the PIAC funding issue? But now you've come to it, so good.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, we have a statutory obligation to fulfill, and we don't want to be accused of breaching the law. So far as we are concerned, we have performed our duties as a committee, but under, under difficult situations, okay? We were on the ABFA, the amendment has taken us off, okay? Now we have to receive funding from the ministry directly. I mean, if we get enough funding, where the money is coming from is not an issue. The most important thing is that we have the money to work, right? Even though PIAC would have preferred that we are put or we remained on the ABFA because it was a direct way of getting our money. It also strengthened our independence. Okay, now we have to wait for the ministry to give us our money. I'll tell you something. Our budget represented, okay, we was slashed about almost 80%. We had about 21% of what we submitted for 2024. Okay, we submitted a budget of 20 million cedis thereabout. We had 4.6. As we speak, we are in October. The 4.6, we had received 4 million. It's left with about 600. But we've performed our duty. You see, but then it has not enabled us to do the necessary engagements we have to do. We may even owe some is it vendors, right?
Yeah, vendors.
Yes, people who supply us goods, those who print the reports and all that. It's a serious challenge. We had the occasion to raise this with His Excellency, okay, and he promised that the matter will be looked at somewhere in July. Unfortunately, we are still on the same, and I'll use this medium to still appeal to His Excellency to look at our funding situation. It's very precarious. It's in the news.
Yeah.
So I am not, shy to say it here. Yeah. So that is what we estimated 8 engagements in the first half. We could do only 1 through development partners. who supported us. You get the situation.
Yeah.
So it's not been good for us this year, so far as our funding and our activities are concerned. Now we are yet to do half year. I mean, 600,000 cannot do anything for the remaining half of the year. We haven't even received that one. We are in October. How do you expect us to start working from July? These are the issues, okay? So we've worked, we've churned out the reports, but we've done so under, difficult circumstances. Yes.
And I think that that's commendable. I mean, in spite of all these challenges, at least PIAC gets to still deliver on its mandate. So now let's settle on some key findings of your report. I'm sure that there are a lot out there. People are talking about Agenda 111. People are talking about the amendment and how it is affecting PIAC. There's been talks about declining crude oil production and all of that. What are some of the key findings of your report?
Oh, the findings, I mean, you've summarized it. I mean, there is a decline. We need to do what we have to do to make sure that this stops. Get more investments in the upstream sector. It's in our report that there hasn't been any new contract signed. Of course, nobody is being blamed for that, but there's something we have to do if we want this industry to be sustainable. The issue of course, the funding is clear. We don't need to belabor the point. And you raise the issue of Agenda 111. Yes. I mean, for us as a committee, every project which is for the good of the people of Ghana must be supported. Some petroleum revenue has been used for this Agenda 111 projects. It will be sad that we let these projects go waste, because I know that some of them, or majority, were not completed by the previous government before it left office. So it is our hope that we support these projects, the ones that have not been completed are completed, and we move on. Yes.
So, Chair, I think that one issue that keeps coming up is sometimes you see PIAC recommendations, we reiterate. So, is it the case that government is not listening to PIAC in terms of its recommendations?
I don't know if government is not listening. So sorry, but we have made the recommendations, and we keep making them. We've had occasions to meet, the presidency. This time, this government and the last government, at our visit to the presidency, we presented our reports. So, and the report are circulated to various institutions, the stakeholder institutions. So everything is there. And we make the recommendations. The unfortunate thing is that when the recommendations are not acted on, okay, we cannot force the implementation. We don't have that biting power, which is a gap in the law, to make sure our recommendations are enforced. And of course, recommendations are recommendations, okay? Legally or technically, it's not binding on whoever, but then the practice has also been that if you make recommendations which are good and addresses the issues that we are facing, they need to be looked at and taken seriously. And that is the hope of PIAC. We submit our report to Parliament, and we support Parliament in its work, right? So we expect that Parliament should also take up this issue.
Okay, so when we posted this flyer last week that we were going to have the session on unpacking the report, one comment that came in was that we have been producing a lot of reports and we keep making recommendations, and it's like nobody's listening to us. Are we not tired? So I want to ask you the question: is PIAC not tired?
We are not tired. In fact, that is the more reason why you have to, forge ahead and push. I mean, I'm not saying that none of our recommendations have been carried through. Okay, we've made recommendations, some have been carried through. So it's not that they've been abandoned completely. Some of the things, some civil institutions have to also resort to court action and all that. Like an issue came up involving the District Assembly Common Fund. Okay, of course. Now there appears to be some inconsistency with that decision and the current amendment on whether the 5% is minimum or maximum. So we are not tired, and we will continue to do our work.
So PIAC Chair says that the committee is not tired and they'll continue to do their work. So we continue to rely on you to support us to get the message out there. I mean, you are partners in promoting transparency and accountability. But Chair, before I let you go, we know that it is sort of mandatory. Once you produce your report, you have to do engagements. Are we likely to see PIAC doing any engagements, looking at the current situation?
We haven't been able to do the engagements we have to do. All again because of the issue of funding. We haven't. I mean, and I must be frank, yes, we haven't. We had to do, is it online engagements? Of course. Online, COVID has taught us that online engagements are good. So we had to do one like that. But that wasn't the way we do our engagements, okay? And even the number of engagements we have to do, we haven't done that, yes.
So post the launch of the reports.
We are hoping that if our funds improve, if our funding situation improves, we'll do what we have to do. But if it doesn't, we'll work with the limited resources we have.
But one question that came up through the online engagements was the fact that how are we approaching this whole issue of funding, the stakeholder engagements, or what exactly is PIAC doing? Are we engaging those we have to engage? Are we contacting those we have to contact? Or we are hoping and praying that someone will have mercy on us and then give us money? What are we doing?
We have done all that we have to do, okay? We have approached some development partners who have supported us. We went to the presidency. If I'm getting your question right, we went to the presidency. We laid bare our issues. It was in the news. You are a media person. It is also in the unfortunate thing, and I have to say, we've tried several times to have an engagement with the Ministry of Finance. We have written several letters. Unfortunately, we have not had the opportunity to meet the Ministry of Finance. It's not that we've written and sat down. Okay, yes. Within the committee, members have tried to get this engagement so that we make bare the issues, but all have proved futile. We are still hoping that we'll get an invitation from the ministry. We talk it over and we see. So that is it.
So we are looking.
We are just sitting down, or we are hoping. We have done what we have to do.
We are working.
We are on course.
Indeed, we are working, and that is all time will allow us for this edition of Time with PIAC. So thank you for staying with us for this discussion, and we believe you found this conversation very insightful. Thank you to my guest, Constantine Kim Kujeji Esquire, the PIAC chair, and then he has reiterated that the committee is not deterred by all that is happening around us. We continue to work as we hope that things will turn around, and then we'll be able to carry out all the activities that we planned for this year. So for more detailed information on the 2025 PIAC semi-annual report, please head to our website www.piacghana.org or send us a message on WhatsApp 055 441 6544, and we will share the full report with you. If you missed any part of this conversation, don't worry, the full video will be on our YouTube channel, PIAC Ghana. You can visit YouTube and then search for PIAC Ghana, and then you have the full conversation on there. So PIAC remains committed to ensuring that Ghanaians are fully informed about how our oil and gas revenues are used. We will continue to engage you as part of our mandate to promote transparency and accountability in petroleum revenue management and use in Ghana. Until next time, I am Jessica Echampon, and on behalf of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, thank you for joining us. Stay informed, stay engaged, and have a great day.